Hello friends and welcome to the channel. I'm Dr. Mohsen Raj. I'm a DM cardiology student at AIIMS Delhi. And this video is about an issue that I found on the YouTube. If you're a student, you're preparing for NEET UG or NEET PG and you type on the YouTube how to crack NEET or crack NEET, you'll be given a whole list of videos which say crack NEET in 90 days, crack NEET in 30 days, which somehow may make you believe that yes, there's a shortcut, there's some magic strategy that the person is going to teach you so that you actually crack this tough exam in 90 days or 100 days or 3 months, whatever. There's so many videos actually. Now let me start by giving you the idea of this competition, how severe, how intense this competition is. Of course, you would be knowing that about 15, 16 lakh students appeared in NEET UG last year. I mean, that's the usual number, 13 lakh, 15 lakh, 16 lakh. And maybe, 70 or 80,000 MBBS seats are there, which means that more than 95% of the students won't get an MBBS seat. Forget about the type of college. Well, here I'm not talking about how to get to a top ranked college. That's a different game. Less than 1% people are able to do that. But on an average, 95% students don't get an MBBS seat in this competition. If you talk of NEET PG, about 1 lakh or 1.5 lakh, actually 1,60,000 students appeared in NEET PG 2021 last year, okay? And what is the number of MD or MS seats? Maybe 20,000. So again, 90% of the students won't get an MD or MS seat, which logically gives you the answer. It's not possible to crack this exam, to get a rank, to get an MD/MS seat or an MBBS seat in just 3 months or 90 days or 1 month. Not possible. Yes, one thing is possible. If you have read everything once, the last couple of months, 2 to 3 months, the way you prepare, the way you focus, that is going to determine your selection. That is going to determine your rank. But that has a caveat, that has a disclaimer that you have read in your class 11th, class 12th, and now towards the end of your preparation, the last 3 months, they make a huge difference. Or in your NEET PG, you've read in your MBBS well, now you're towards the end of your preparation, the last couple of months, the last 3 to 4 months, the way you revise definitely is going to determine your rank, the college, the seat you get. Right. So I'm towards the end of the journey. I've done my MBBS. I've got top ranks at all India level in my PG. In my MD/MS, I got top ranks in my DM level. So I've seen most of the journey. I've interacted with so many all India toppers. I've interacted with so many students over this course of 9 years or 10 years journey. And I know how hard this business is. I know how hard this course is or how hard these selections are. So through this video, let me answer some of the questions that you might be having in your mind. It's kind of a one-stop video. Watch this video. Please don't get misguided by other stuff available out there, right? So number one, so I'll be answering such questions like what's the time that it takes to prepare for these exams? So if not 3 months, if not 90 days, how much does it take to actually prepare for these exams? Second, when should you ideally start to prepare for these exams? Third, how many revisions are needed? Or fourth, sometimes you might have this question in your mind, how many questions should I solve daily to get a rank in these exams, right? So let's get started with this. Number one, what time is required for cracking these exams? Now, let me be honest. For NEET UG, it takes 2 years or at least 1.5 years. 1.5 years of focused, dedicated preparation to get to an MBBS seat. And the more focused you are, the higher will be your score and the better college you'll get in your MBBS, right? So when should you start preparing for it? Of course, at the start of your class 11. Know the value of these 2 years in your life, class 11, class 12. Don't waste even 1 day of these 2 years. Well, at the minimum, at least from the middle of the class 11th, okay, you might take time to get adapted. You might take time to get settled or get acquainted with the competition, with the subjects that you have to deal with. You might take some time to get adapted, but at least 1.5 years, that's from the middle of class 11th, focused, dedicated studies towards NEET will get you an MBBS seat, okay? Now, for a postgraduate exam, ideally, your third year, your fourth year of MBBS, that's the time to prepare. And it takes a minimum of 1 year. And there's a reason to it. See, it is not possible to master biology, physics, and chemistry in 90 days. It's not possible. See, if I tell you everything comes from NCERT biology and you'll get 360 out of 360, that may be true, but that's going to take you 2 years to master that stuff. To remember that stuff by heart. It's not just about remembering, it's about understanding those things, right? So it's going to take you time. So same is true for NEET PG. It won't be possible to master 19 different subjects in a matter of 3 months, not even 6 months. So it's going to take time, and you have to give that time. There is no shortcut. There is no shortcut to getting an MBBSc. There's no shortcut to getting an MD or MSc, right? So duration is clear. It's 1.5 years for your 1.5 to 2 years for your NEET UG. It is at least 1 year, and preferably more for an MD or MSc, right? So when should you start preparing? I mean, latest by the middle of class 11. And for your postgraduate exam, preferably third year MBBS, or if not, at least fourth year of MBBS, right? And then how much time should you devote to your studies? Say if you're a class 11 student, I tell you, you have to devote 5 to 6 hours every day. That's on top of your coaching, on top of your schooling, 5 to 6 hours a day, at least 5 to 6 days a week. It's okay to take 1 to 2 days of break in your life every week. That's fine to take a 1 day of break, but 5 to 6 days a week, you have to put in 5 to 6 hours of focused studies. That's true. Okay, next, how many revisions are needed? Now, let me tell you, no matter who you are, no matter how good your memories, how good your concepts are, how good your study techniques are, but we hardly remember anything from first reading. It's just to get an overview of a topic. Your first reading is just to get an overview of the topic, not to remember the fine details of that topic. And for that matter, it's I believe at least 3 revisions are needed for you to do good in the exam. And of course, I've mentioned in a previous video as well, the higher the number of revisions, the higher will be your score, the better will be your rank, the better will be your college. Right? And final point, say some people ask, how many questions should I practice daily? That's an irrelevant question actually. See, whichever subject you're reading, if you're reading physics for that matter, if you're reading kinematics, now the point is you have to practice as long as you feel confident about that topic. You know, if that means you practice 50 questions and you're fine with that chapter, you can solve questions from that chapter, that's fine, okay, fine. But if you're uncomfortable, if you're still unprepared in that chapter, solve more questions. Same is true for, every other subject. As long as you feel confident about that topic, you need to practice that number of questions. So for example, if some topic is purely theoretical, you've read it well, you're solving questions, you're seeing 10, 20 questions, they seem pretty easy, fine. You can move to the next step. You can move to the next chapter. In a hard chapter, maybe waves, oscillations, or maybe some part of physical chemistry, you're feeling some hardships. How do you overcome that? Solve more questions, solve 100, 200, 300, solve as many questions as you get from as many sources as you get, right? So I hope you find the contents of this video useful. I wish you luck in your preparation, and I strongly recommend don't look for shortcuts. The journey is a long journey. The journey is a little hard, but you will get your reward at the end. Thank you.